Today we're talking about the lunge, and this lunge is so important and vital to your longevity because it will carry over to so many things like running, jumping, hiking, you name it. It doesn't matter. The point is it's a healthy way to train the hips and the legs to get stronger and better. The first thing we're going to talk about with the lunge is that your torso angle should match the angle of your back leg, or in other words, there should be a straight line from your rear knee to your shoulder, no matter what inclination that line is. So if I'm going to lunge with a narrow step like this, then I want to make sure that my torso is staying as upright as this leg. All right, so straight line from here to here. Or I could take that wider lunge and now throw a little bit of hinging mechanic into it, still a straight line. Though that's your first point of performance for the lunge. The second thing you want to keep in mind on the lunge is that your front foot should be stable and flat. All right, so as I'm stepping forward, I don't want my heel to leave the ground unless I'm training something specific. All right, and then I want to make sure that my ankle and my foot isn't just shaking in there. All right, it's not wavering too much, and it might be your knee or it could be your ankle. But the point is it needs to be stable. You should be grabbing the floor, using your feet, the muscles in your feet, to show some stability of that front foot. The third thing we want to talk about is that we touch our rear knee to the floor with control. So we're not slamming it on the floor, but we are touching it, and I call it a kiss. We want to just kiss the floor with our back knee. Why do we do that? It's just to ensure that there's an equal range of motion on both sides. So as I do the lunge, I just gently touch that knee and stand back up. The next thing we need to talk about is your hips position during the lunge, and specifically we're focusing on the rear leg. If that rear leg turns outward, you're going to have your pelvis shift outward, which is counter to the movement that you're trying to produce. So the way you want to look at this is from the rear. If my knee is outside, I'm forcing that pelvic shift. If my knee is inside my foot, right, it's going to be more in line, and that's called internal rotation. The other thing we look at is the heel is nice and high, and it's not caved in like this. It's more out, all right? Or just straight up is fine. That's kind of that position of the hip that you need to maintain when you do your lunges. We're almost finished here. Next, we want to emphasize what the top position of the lunge looks like. Let me show you. It should be a straight line all the way down, full extension of the knee, full extension of the hip. So the example that I'll show is that sometimes people just stay kind of low when they transfer over, which unless there's intention with that, and that's on purpose, it's different. But it should be a full standing position as you pass through to the next position. If you're walking, if you're not walking, it's legitimately just standing. We've talked a lot about positioning and a lot of those things and how to do the mechanics of the movement, but we haven't talked about where you need to be feeling it, and that's very, very important. Making those mind-muscle connections will help increase the longevity and will make more bang for your buck, so you could do 5 reps and get more out of it than doing 10 reps without this focus. All right, the tension needs to be glutes primarily, quads, hip flexors, core, and hamstrings. You should feel all of those muscles firing when you're doing a squat. And what I love about, a lunge. What I love about the lunge is that this position here is like full length. If you elevate this foot especially, it's full length in your glute. You're getting the deepest possible contraction in your glute, which is why it's such an excellent glute builder. Here's what defines success in the lunge here at Principia. If you can do half of your body weight for 10 reps per side of a back rack reverse lunge, then we're going to consider you kind of like good for life. However, if you're looking to compete or be more athletic or lift a little bit more or have a sport-specific type of training, I want you to be able to do 3 reps or more at your body weight with all those points of performance intact. So back rack, reverse lunge, just so you see it, starts on the back. I take that step back, follow all the mechanics and the points of performance. That would be 1 rep.